Hey guys, I wanted to run through task one, which is creating a database. So if you read through task one, it asks you to create a database application to store details of your friends and relatives, business contacts, that sort of thing. We're going to use Microsoft Access, which is a Microsoft product like Excel or Word, but for database purposes. So look, it does say that you can use any tutorial files, but if you go through this and follow this, you should be able to create something. So look, the first thing it asks you to do is list the data to be included in the database. So it leaves up to you. What I've chosen is, you can see here, my fields. My fields are in this list here. I haven't talked about the type and the length yet. We did that in class, but we'll go through that a bit later. Look, pretty simple at this stage, just first name, last name, address, date of birth, telephone number, email, and I've put photo down there. I'm not sure if that's actually gonna happen, but looking in a real database, like for example the school. So Simon has your photo on file, so you can definitely put stuff like that in there. So look, open your database application and name and save your database as address book. Okay, so where to find access? If you look down here, all apps, it is in your Microsoft applications. So Office 2013, Access 2013. Okay, so it's probably going to look a little bit different to anything you've ever seen, unless you've used something like this before, but you're going to start a blank desktop database. Okay, so that's that first one there. So if you click on that, the first thing you do is it's going to ask you to put a file name in there. So we're going to save it as I think it said to do contacts, address book, of course. So let's call it address book, and I think it's going to ask you to put it somewhere. So on your network drive or USB is probably what you want, probably on a USB. If you want to take it home and work with it, it's probably a better option. And you should just press create. I'm going to create mine in the place where I store my files, if it ever opens. Yep, I highly recommend if you're to use some sort of cloud storage. This is Dropbox. Put it in my file, database access. Okay, so I've got some old databases there, but this one's going to be called address book. Okay, and just press create. Okay, so what you're presented with is this it's the data sheet view. Okay, and it's this is a table. Okay, so I go straight into creating a table. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use our field list, which I created before. By the way, you might have something different here. I'm going to use these here. So first name, last name, address. Okay, so I'm going to type this directly into the fields. I'm going to stop recording and until I've done that. And actually, guys, I've just made a slight mistake. This is actually not what's called data sheet view. You can't actually type in your fields here. So this little button up here will toggle between different views. Now, the first thing it asks you to do is to save it, which is quite an odd thing. When we save tables, we usually use a convention, which is we say TBL. When you're working with large databases, often there's always you can have hundreds of tables, and you have to have sort of queries and reports, which we'll get into later. But we prefix a table with TBL, and I'm going to call it just main book. Okay, TBL main book. I'll put that in book. And I don't think, I'm just going to try something. I don't think Access likes spaces in table names. I could be wrong. I haven't used this for a couple of years. No, that's okay. All right, so once you save it, it'll go into something called Datasheet. This is Datasheet view, and it'll let you put in your fields now. Okay, I'll talk about a bit more about this. I'll type them in, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I've just popped in my field names. Now you notice when you type in these, it'll assign this data type. Now we talked about data types in class. Now I'll just come back to this auto number, but you'd think first name and last name should be text. You have a look down here at the field properties, and it actually lets you have, this is the number of characters it lets you have in there. So actually, hang on, maybe that's not what it is. Anyway, last name should be text. Date of birth is going to be a date, time. Address is probably going to be short text as well. Telephone number. Now, you could probably put that as a number. But the only problem with that is telephone numbers often have a 0 at the start. So, as you know, mobile number has a 0 at the start, and numbers are not recognised with zeros. So even though it does a telephone number, it's often used as a text field. So I'm just going to leave it as text. Okay. Email is text as well, and photo. Now I could be wrong with this, but I think it is OLE object. Okay. We'll come back to that. I haven't had much luck with that in the past, but I just wanted to come back and talk about this auto number thing here. Okay. So in some of the questions, it talks about something called primary key, which is indicating that little key there. Okay, what that indicates is this is the primary key for this table. Now, you don't have to have a primary key when you have large numbers of records in a database. A primary key is helpful. It helps searching. It searches a lot quicker through a database. It has to be unique. So every record in the primary key has to have a different entry. So in this case, our first name would not be a good primary key, because it will actually create an error, because there might be two people named Steve, or with the same first name. So we can't have that. So you need to turn that off. We're going to let's make it a short text, and you can actually right click, turn off the primary key. Okay, it's a good idea to have a primary key in a database. Your student ID in the school database is a primary key. Every single student in the school has a different student ID. It helps with searching through lots and lots of records. Okay, so just hang on a second. Okay, I'll show you what this has done so far. This is called the datasheet view. Sorry, this is design view. And if you click on this grid here, it'll show you. It'll ask you to save. Just save it, and it will give you this. This is your datasheet view here. Okay, so you can toggle between the field list and the record list using this button. Okay, so let me just show you what. So let's put John Smith, date of birth. It could be 12th of the. Let's make it 25th of the 12th, 2001, for example. Address 45 New Street, Rosebud, and telephone 043988. Okay. Just a note. When I typed in that telephone number, if that was a number field, it would actually take the 0 off the front, which is why I make it a text field. Numbers, it's useful to have a number type data when you're trying to add and subtract. Okay, there's no perform mathematical operations on it. There's no real reason to perform mathematical operations on telephone numbers. That's not what they're actually for. Email address, something at hotmail.com. Okay, I'm just making stuff up now. I'm going to leave the photo out of it for now. So let me just show you what that's done. So that's one record, and you can keep putting in records down here. You just keep typing them in, and that'll fill that up. Now I think the task is to put at least 10 in. Okay, so you can use your friends. You can make stuff up. I don't mind. Real data is probably better. Just want to show you one thing here. I'm going to put in a dummy row, and I'm going to call it the ID. Okay, I'm going to give that an auto number. Okay, so I'm going to call that the primary key. Okay, not really necessary in a small database like this, but I'm just going to show you what it does. What it'll do, it'll give a unique number to every record I put in. So view, I'm just going to save it. Okay, so notice how it puts a 1 there. I'm going to put in another name, so Harry. Okay, so notice that it'll automatically put another number in. Okay, and because we've got a primary key on here, it won't let you put a duplicate in. Okay, so that's what primary key does. Okay, I think that's all. So have a go at that. Populate your database. You might have different things to here. You don't have to have a primary key. Just have a go at that. And yeah, we'll come to reports and forms in another video.